Welcome to Talking Confidence with Holly Kaplan. Having confidence in the workplace is essential for progress, fulfillment, and yes, survival. The issue is that confidence doesn't always come easy and is impacted and influenced along the way. But the key to finding and keeping your confidence is how to recognize how professional situations have affected how you think of yourself. In this podcast together, we will examine exactly what impacts women's confidence in the workplace. We're going to get raw in these episodes. We're going to peel back the layers of social interactions, company culture, gender discrimination, ageism, and more. My guests will include entrepreneurs, corporate executives, and business owners. We're going to get down to what these women are really feeling. Expect to find vulnerability, openness, and relatability. But most importantly, expect to find your confidence. What do you do if you find yourself in a place in your professional career where you know you need growth and development, but you're not getting it in your current situation? And although you may love your career and you know you can do more, but how? I've been in this spot before, and I spent more time wondering what to do about it rather than just doing it. This is where you can get stagnant. And when this happens, your confidence level lowers, and then you could get stuck not knowing what to do next. But guess what? You don't have to get stuck. There are executive coaches out there who specialize in guiding you through your career ups and downs. I wish I had hired one years ago. They will be your biggest cheerleader, provide you direction, and can be your mentor. I highly recommend that when you need these three components in your life, that you hire a coach. Today, we will be speaking with a dear friend of mine, Judy Hoberman. Judy is a high-performance coach and is a leading authority on women and leadership and sales. Please be sure to listen through to the end of this episode so you can hear my 2 tips of how having a coach can help you succeed and reach your goals. First, here's more on Judy. Judy Hoberman is president of Judy Hoberman and Associates, a company focused on empowering professional women. She is an award-winning international speaker, best-selling author, trainer, and leading authority on women and leadership and sales. She is also a certified high-performance coach where changing your habits can change your life. Her focus is on executive coaching and masterminds for women. This direction is where her true passion is and gives her the time and attention to work with these women, which has always been a part of her mission and vision. She is a TEDx speaker as well as the author of 4 books, including Selling in a Skirt. This one, I've read it. And the second one, Walking on the Glass Floor. Judy is also the host of the Trailblazer Chronicles podcast and has been the gender expert on Fox News Radio. She has appeared on CNN Headlines, ABC, CBS, CW33, and Good Morning Texas, and contributes articles to multiple publications and journals. She does it all. Here is Judy's mission: to help one woman a day by following an important philosophy. Women want to be treated equally, not identically. Judy, I'm so happy you're here today.
Oh, you have no idea. I couldn't wait for today to get here.
Me too. It's been a long time coming, but this is the second time that you've been a guest with me. It just occurred to me.
Well, I'm flattered, I'm honored, and I'm grateful, and I love being with you. So let's just do it next week too.
Me too. That's fine. No problem. I'll just meet you here at the same time at 12:30. It'll be fine.
Fine.
We have so much to talk about today,
yeah.
and I know your stories could be really inspiring, and I know you're going to motivate a lot of women out there, and I know they want to hear about you. So let's get started like I always do. Let's talk first about how we know each other. Do you remember the story?
I do. Actually, I was looking it up to make sure I was right. I got an email from you, and the email was about a happy hour. Now, I had no idea who you were. I had no idea who the happy hour was for, and I'm reading it, and I'm reading on, what is this? And it was Susan Freeman.
Oh, yes.
That's how we actually met, because I was on her mailing list, and you must have sent them something, and she forwarded it or something.
Oh.
And I remember thinking, wow, this looks like a really cool happy hour.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, then it was. We might have been doing virtual then.
We were
doing
doing virtual.
Like during COVID or something.
We were doing virtual. So it would have been fun in your own house, but we had other people. But it was funny.
We were just drinking on a Zoom call.
Whatever.
That's really all it was. It was just an excuse to drink on a Zoom call.
That's right.
That is so funny. You have a good memory.
Yeah.
I also remember when I was doing some volunteer coaching for the Veteran Women's Enterprise Center about 5 years ago. And they had all of us read your book, Selling in a Skirt. we all had to read it and then highlight certain parts. And then you got on a Zoom call with us and then we reviewed everything together.
Yeah.
And I was like, I like her a lot.
Well, I think we had a mutual admiration society from the beginning.
I think so too.
So, I mean, we were destined to meet. And we live one town over, which is just bizarre
Very
how this all
close.
happens. Yeah.
It's very convenient too.
I know.
Okay. So tell us a little bit more about you. Tell us about you personally.
What about me personally? So I am funny.
Of course.
Yes. And if you don't think so, it doesn't matter because I
think
am
you
my
are.
own best audience.
Yes.
I'm a mom. I'm of 2 children, grown, a son and a daughter. I am a grandma, Nana, to 2 beautiful little boys. I'm the wife of the Colonel.
Yes, you are.
Yes, I am the wife of the Colonel. And that's me personally. I have no hobbies. That's a whole different
Seriously?
story. Yeah. I mean, Don keeps saying to me, you have to get a hobby. I'm like, I'm not a hobby person. So I have no hobbies, but I like to do things. It's just not a hobby, you know?
Yeah. Maybe your cowboy boots are kind of hobby. Would that be considered
I would say that's part brand.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's more of your brand.
But,
Okay.
I mean, I like to dance around the house when nobody's there.
Okay, that's a hobby.
That's a hobby, but it's not a hobby.
Yeah.
Like I don't knit or crochet or golf or anything like that.
Oh God, I don't do that either. So.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, but business-wise.
Yes.
I started out in sales in Fuller Brush, if you remember Fuller Brush, and that's true door to door. And I mean, you literally knocked on people's doors. And the first door I went to was my mom. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to start this career out really well. And she said no.
Your mother said no?
Yes, but she gave me two lessons that I used in my sales for the rest of my life, and and continue to. She said to me, just because somebody loves you doesn't mean they're going to buy from you.
That's true.
But just because somebody loves you, they're going to share you with their friends.
Yes.
And that's where referrals come in. So I always remembered when somebody said no to me, I'm like, okay, but they're going to just share me with their friends, you know. So that was Fuller Brush. And then I did all kinds of stuff. I did burglar alarms. I did copiers, everything that everybody does.
Those
when
are
they go
tough
to
sales too.
Yeah. The copier was the best one because you have to actually, these were not mini copiers. These were copiers.
Yeah.
You had to take the copier from the showroom by yourself, carry it, open the door by yourself, bring it to your car by yourself, open that door, put it in, and then you had to reverse it and bring it back. And I thought, I definitely don't want to do this, but I am not going to let them see that I can't lift this thing. And so I did. And then, they offered me the position. I said, nope.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I did. I just thought it was ridiculous for them to even think that that's what sales is about. Anyway, I ended up in financial services for many years, started out the bottom, had 3 agencies of my own, went into the corporate side. And then I left and I said, this is not for me. And so when I left, I thought, what would I have wanted if I was starting all over as a female in sales? And I would have wanted somebody like me, somebody that would have understood what it's like to be a woman in sales or a single mom or whatever the thing was, because I worked 100% commission. I had no guaranteed income. I was a single mom with 2 kids, and yet I was able to do this. So I became the woman I wish I would have had. And that's what I do. I do executive coaching. I do masterminds for women. I do sales training, leadership training, all of that to say that it's my passion to help one woman a day.
Right. And you're self-made. Like all these things that you've done, like schlepping copiers, albeit short period of time, and selling in 100% commission.
Yeah, always. And in fact, the corporate position was the first time ever that I ever got a paycheck that was deposited into my checking account. Everything else I had to actually earn. Even as an agency manager, we were not employees. So yeah, it was very interesting. It was great, because if you did more, you got more. And when you went to corporate, you could do nothing and get paid, or you could do more and you get the same.
Right.
So it was, it's a balancing act.
Yeah. Which did you like better?
I loved having a check deposited.
Sure.
But I would take the other 10 times out of 10.
You have more freedom.
It's not even the freedom. It's that you get to do things that you love to do.
Yeah.
When you're in a corporate position, you might love what you do, but there's things that you don't love and you still have to do them. As an entrepreneur or a solopreneur, if you don't like something, you can choose not to do it.
Very
if you
true.
don't want to work with somebody, you can choose not to work with them. So I think I like that part better. And plus, you get to build whatever it is you want.
Yeah, on your terms.
On your terms.
That's it. Like you said, if you don't want to do business with someone anymore, you don't have to.
No.
That's your choice.
Yeah.
I love that, though. That's empowering.
Yeah, I love that.
Okay, well, clearly you have a very interesting background and you've proved your resilience and you've proved your success because you're here now.
Mhm.
What got you into coaching women?
Well, when I was in corporate, my job was to train and motivate and mentor and everything, all of the producers. We had 4,000 producers. We were in 254 states. That was my job. Um, when I first came in, I was the only or one of the only. When I started recruiting, I recruited a lot of women. So by the time I went into the corporate side, there were a lot of women. And women would always come to me and say, I heard you started out as a single mom, or heard you started out and there was nobody else like you, and so on and so forth. So I started coaching and I started being the mentor. And when I was in the sales end of it, because I started to progress pretty quickly, I had to. I had kids. I would get people from all over the country calling me and saying, "Hey, we have," and they would say just like this, "We have this chick that's coming in. Can you talk to her?" I'm like, first of all, we're going to not call her a chick. Okay,
Let's just start there.
Yeah. So I already knew what the questions were and what it was like, and I already knew that I had some of the answers for them. And if I would just let them talk and listen to them, because that's all they wanted. And so that started it. When I left the corporate side, I hired a coach, my first official female coach. She was very tough, but she was also very loving. And she and I designed my business. And she said, "What do you love to do?" And I said, "I love to do coaching. I love to, watch women grow and reach their goals." And she said, "Okay, so let's start building that." And it was just a funny episode because she said to me, "So where do you really want to be?" And I said, "Well, I think I want to open the ultimate goal." I said, "I think I want to open an exclusive bar on an exclusive island." And I had just watched a movie with Michelle Pfeiffer, and I can't even remember the name of the movie, but that's what she did. And I thought, that sounds so cool. She said, "Well, how are you going to get there?" And I said, "By plane?" She said, "No. How are you going to get there?" I said, "By boat?" She said, "Listen to what I'm asking you. How are you going to get there?" I said, "I have no idea what you're asking me." She said, "You can't just go from here to having this exclusive bar. There has to be something in between that's going to build that up." I went, "Oh, I don't know." So when we talked about it, that's when I said to her, I love coaching. She goes, "All right, let's put that in the bucket and we'll talk about that." And that's how it started.
She gave you a path.
Yeah.
But I like what you're saying because a lot of people have those ideas, but then they get stuck and then they don't do anything because they don't know how they're going to get there.
Right. A boat or a plane is
Right.
what I thought.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. You're like, you mean like transportation or like, what's my
It made
plan?
no sense the way it came out,
Yeah.
How are you going to get there? Well, I don't know, boat?
So then coaching it was.
Coaching it was, and coaching it always has been. And then when the pandemic hit, everything else that I did that was live was off the table. So all my live events, my speaking, my training, gone. And the only thing I had was coaching. And that's when it really hit me that this was where I was supposed to be, because it was virtual anyway.
Right.
And then I brought in the masterminds with that, which most of the time they're virtual anyway. So those things that I started and continued through the pandemic are still the things I do the most and the best.
See, something good did come of that.
Yes.
And it changed the way you do business.
Correct. And that's when you tell people, here's what I'm doing now.
Right.
And they're like, oh, makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. Well, I love hearing about your evolution.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
It's a story. My life is based on a true story.
I know. And there's more. I know there's more.
There's so
We
much
won't
more.
even get into it today.
There's so much more.
That's on an earlier episode.
Mm-hmm.
That's I'm going to remind the listeners about that so they can go back to hear about your earlier years. Okay. I'm all about women's confidence. What drove you to helping women improve their confidence? And why is that important to you?
A confident woman doesn't have to say, I'm confident. And that's what people think, like, do I have to tell everybody how confident? No, it's like telling somebody I have integrity. You don't do that. You have to feel good about yourself inside. You have to trust your instincts, and you have to decide that the things that you really want to do, the things that really matter, let's find a way to build on that. And being confident means, you can walk into a room. You don't have to walk in and say, here I am. But when you walk in, people notice. People know who you are. And so part of it is loving the person that you are. And many times, perception is reality. When somebody will say to you, oh, I would never have talked to you because of this, or Why do you want to do that? You're not good enough. And so then you have that, internal chatter and the imposter syndrome. And so I always talk to women about how do we counteract that? Because I don't care who you are and I don't care what level you're in. Your confidence gets pushed down every single time you doubt yourself.
Yeah.
So it's very important to me to watch women, really live to their potential, to really understand how amazing they are. And by the time you're done talking to me, you'll believe it because I'm going to tell you that. And I'm not just saying it because I think you should hear it. It's because I see things differently than other people.
Right. And you want them to believe it.
Yeah. Because that's where your growth comes in. That's where the advancement comes in. That's where that promotion that you wanted is going to come in. That's where that new client that you've been working on forever is going to come from because you're out there and you're expressing yourself and you're not being inauthentic. You're really being you and you have to own you.
Right. You're just believing in yourself.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because a lot of women won't go for things that they really want because we don't think we deserve them or we don't want to show off or be too showy at all. So we're like, no, I'll just be quiet. I just won't put myself out there. And that really doesn't do anything for your confidence.
No, it doesn't. But remember how we all grew up. My mom would tell me, you don't have to tell anybody how great you are. They should know it themselves. And if they don't, move along. Well, you can't do that anymore. And it's not to say that you should be bragging. But bragging to me means you're putting somebody else down. That's what bragging is. To me, my question always is to somebody when I want to know more about them, I'll say, tell me something that's not on your resume.
Oh, I love that.
And they freak out. Oh my God, I just worked on my resume so hard. I'm like, I know. But tell me something that's not on it. So I tell people to have like back pocket information. So for me, I'll tell you, and this is, honest to God, this is a true story because I couldn't even make this up, which I can't anyway. I'm not good at that. I was at an event and I was sitting next to this man and the MC of the event was talking about all these great things that are going to happen tonight, blah, 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 blah. But he says, but my favorite award that we're giving out is the Character and Integrity Award. And he describes this whole thing and it's voted on by your peers and everything. So I said to him, with all my awards, and I have won tons of awards, sales awards, recruiting awards. I said, I would one day like to get that award. And they called my name.
Oh my gosh.
Do you not think I'm going to say, then when somebody says, what's not on your resume, I would tell that story.
That's a great story.
And it's the truth. And I still have the trophy.
Right.
And I was voted by my peers, not by anything I did. It wasn't my sales. It wasn't my recruiting. It wasn't my bottom line. It had nothing to do with me. They voted for me.
That's the biggest compliment of all.
Right. And so that's what I'm saying. So did that give me a lot of confidence? You bet it did. And that's it, when you have something like that or any story that you can tell, that brings you confidence.
Right. And I love the way you get that information out of people. Say, tell me something that's not on your resume.
Right? Isn't that a great question?
Yeah. Yeah. It really makes you think and it really helps you get to know them.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to use that.
You should.
The next time I interview someone
for
a job.
Or even when, somebody on your team, when, they're having like one of those down days.
Yeah.
I say that a lot of times I'll start a meeting with, tell me what we're going to celebrate.
Oh, I like that too.
And they're like, celebrate? Like, because we don't know how to celebrate ourselves.
No, we don't.
Right?
I'm too busy being stressed and worried than to celebrate.
And celebrating somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they think about it and the most amazing stories come out. Oh, I was doing this and my little baby got up and said, Mama.
Oh.
Something like that. That's a celebration. Or I forgot when somebody just told me one. Oh, she was told that she is one of the most intelligent women that this person had ever met. And she said, I didn't even think I was intelligent.
Oh my gosh.
Right? That's something to celebrate. You don't have to be something major.
Yeah.
But it is major.
And it does matter.
Yeah.
And it helps you with, guess what?
It's confidence.
Your confidence.
Yeah.
And it teaches you that you're doing the right things.
Yeah. And we all have those days where nothing is going right.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I know.
I've never had that happen.
Yeah, right. But I have a file on my computer and I have audios, I have videos, I have letters, emails that people have written and, and recorded. They're on a file. And when I'm having one of those days, I just open it up and I choose one and I read it and I go, okay, I'm good.
That's great because it resets the way you're thinking.
Yeah.
You're like, no, I am this person.
Yeah. Now I know why I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a good reminder.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a perfect segue, actually.
Okay.
Okay, so tell me this. In your experience, what challenges do you think women in the workplace face the most? And how do you think those challenges impact their confidence?
I have done surveys for hundreds of women asking about their challenges in the workplace.
Hmm.
And the same one comes up every single time. Every time.
Wait, let me think about what this could be.
Okay.
They're afraid to ask for what they want?
That's a challenge, but not number one.
Okay, what was your number one?
Work-life balance.
Oh, yeah. Duh.
Every single woman. And I always talk about there is no such thing as work-life balance. It's a myth, so just get over yourself. But how about if we talk about work-life harmony? And to me, harmony means wherever you are, you're present. So you and I are present right now. There's nothing else going on. There's no phones. There's no tablets. There's no nothing. But, okay? Then we're present. When you get home or I get home, we're going to be present over there.
Yeah.
When we go somewhere, we're going to be present. Because when you're present, people notice.
Yeah.
And that will help your confidence.
Yes,
But
very
work-life
true.
balance doesn't work at all. And when you're in a high corporate position and it's stressful and everything else, and you're worried about because in the morning your daughter got strep throat or whatever, and she's home with a babysitter, and you're thinking, oh my, I should be there, or I should do this. Because with harmony, something will take precedence over the other, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Because when you get to the next place, you're present.
Right.
So it gives the ability for somebody to just exhale and say, okay, I can do this. I can do this. And there's the confidence.
I love it.
Yeah. But that is
For our listeners, it's no longer work-life balance. It's work-life harmony.
Yeah. And that is the truth. Whenever somebody says work-life balance, what do you think? I'm like, there is no such thing.
No,
Let's just
no.
bust the myth right now.
Yeah.
No such thing.
Yeah.
Because if I'm a mom and I'm at work and I get the call from school that my child fell in the playground, I have one of two options. I can say, I'll be right there. Or I can say, I'm in my work zone right now. So can you just hold on to him until 3:00 and then I'll come get him? It doesn't work like that. Life doesn't work like that. So
No.
you have to be realistic. And when you get that, ingrained in your body, you're more confident about it. Is it still stressful? Yeah, it's still stressful. Is it going to take away everything? No, it's not. But when you change the way you think, your confidence, it's all about mindset.
Yeah. And you probably feel like you have more, I don't want to say control.
But it is more control over what's happening.
Okay, let's say control then.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Or we think we have more control.
It doesn't matter. It's mindset.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I had a little kerfuffle this morning with my daughter, and we're out for summer now, and she's dropping on me that she needs to be somewhere by so-and-so time, and I'm, trying to do whatever I've got to do, and then, these people are coming in to fix something in the house, and I was like, oh my God, I have no harmony right now. How am I going to control this situation?
Right. But you learn slowly but surely, because it takes time. It's not an overnight thing. Slowly but surely, you learn that, okay, I can handle this and I can move this around and I can have somebody else come into the house while they're there, or I can get somebody to drive her here, or I can reschedule that or move it back. People are okay when you call and say, you know what, I've got a little challenge here. Can we do this 30 minutes later? Yeah.
People are fine with it.
They are. You think they're not fine with it. So you're not going to ask.
Right.
But I just got stuck, I told you, in Denver, and I had 5 meetings Monday morning. And so this was happening Sunday night. It wasn't even like it was Friday. This was Sunday night to early Monday morning. And I said, what I wrote was, I'm writing this late Sunday night, but I'm not sending you to till Monday because I don't want to, in case your phone is on. And I said, can you do me a favor? Here's what's happening. Every single person said, absolutely, take what you need, whatever time, we'll just move it. Not one person said, oh, thanks a lot.
Right. They were fine too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that kind of, knowing that that's the response you're going to get from clients or customers or what have you, should just lower your stress levels just a little bit.
A lot.
Which gives you harmony. I'm going to keep using that.
Just think about harmony is the flow.
Yeah.
Harmony is this.
Yeah.
Balance is this. Balance is like a constant tug of war.
Right.
Harmony is let's work together.
Okay. I need you every day, Judy. Can you come over tomorrow at 8 a.m. and we can just,
yes, we can go
work
through
on this harmony together? Okay. Tell me this. This is more related to your business. But the challenges that these women face, How do your programs help them?
I think the first thing that I should say is that my programs are not so rigid that we only do my program.
Right.
I mean, I have formats and I have different ideas and whatever, and everybody knows what they are up front. But I also ask questions. The first thing that happens when we're doing coaching or mastermind or anything is like, how's everything going? Some kind of question like that. What's going on? Some kind of question so they get to talk.
Right.
And as soon as they tell me something, we might be able to incorporate something into it. But it's not like, okay, well, yeah, hold that till next week because we're going to talk about that next week. So I give them the space to be heard, and I give them the ability to think for themselves and offer suggestions. Have you considered this? Because I can't say, look, if you don't do this, it's not going to work. It probably is true, but I would never say that because that's not my place. I'm not a therapist,
Right.
So, but the programs work because they are the program. And I know that sounds kind of weird or like maybe woo-woo, but that's the truth.
No, it sounds like it's more customized to them. It's
is.
It's not a cookie cutter thing.
No.
It's about you're saying, I want your feedback and let's work from there.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's really, truly what it is. When I say, my mission has always been to help one woman a day.
Yes.
And it is a short little sentence, but it speaks volumes, right? And so when I say that, people will say to me, well, why not 100 women a day? Well, one woman a day exponentially is a lot of women.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, it is.
But every time I say that, wherever I am, somebody will pop up and say, can I be your woman?
Oh.
Okay. That woman needed something that day. What did she need? I won't know unless I ask questions.
Right.
Now, my nickname is the Question Queen, and people do roll their eyes when if they know me and they go, oh my God, another question. But it only means that I'm interested in you. That's all it means.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I start asking questions and I hear what she's saying, I know I can help her.
Right. Right. You're figuring out what she needs from you.
Yeah.
That's a very giving thing to do.
But that's how I've always been.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always been like that. And I can't change it. I don't know how to change it. I wouldn't want to change it, but I don't know how to change it.
But it's very authentic.
Seriously, I mean, I would give you what do you need? Tell me what you need. Just tell me what you need and I'll give it to you because I have
like that better instead of you telling them what they need. You're like,
right.
You tell me and I'll meet you where you are and figure out where we need to go from there.
Right. And when I say to somebody, tell me what can I do to support you? A lot of times people will tell me things, but sometimes I'll say, I don't know right now. And I said, fine, the invitation's open.
Right.
So it's not like you have to ask me. It's there. So when you figure it out, because women don't like to ask. I can't ask for help. How can I ask for help?
Oh, that's a whole other episode.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't like to ask for help.
No.
It takes a lot.
Yeah.
It does. Well, I like what you're saying because it's more about your client than about you.
It's
about what you can do for them and what they can get out of it. Okay, let's get a little bit personal here.
Uh-oh.
I know. If you personally, Judy, find yourself in a less than confident phase in your life, you kind of gave us a little bit before, but how do you move through it?
First, I give myself permission to feel whatever it is I'm feeling.
Yes.
So, pandemic, I lost 2/3 of my business in a matter of minutes because everything was wiped off my calendar. Nothing that I did, nothing I could control. So I gave myself permission to grieve. So I went in my bed, I pulled the covers over my head, and I cried for 20 minutes.
Okay.
And then I got up and said, okay, now what am I going to do? Because this is not working.
Right.
And so I have to give myself permission to wallow in it for a moment. And then that gives me the space to say, okay, this is not working the way it's supposed to. I also always have 2 coaches, always.
You have told me that.
Yeah. Because I have a female because I want a female.
Right.
But I have a male because I need the male perspective for all my females.
Oh, there you go.
So I have that as an option. And then there's also an exercise that I would tell my clients to do. The first thing I would say is what is it? Be aware of what it is and identify what makes you feel like this. Is there something that's triggering it? Whatever that is. So you think about that. Then the next step is it real or not?
Mm-hmm.
So I always say, is it real or Memorex? But a lot of people don't know.
I know.
Yeah.
We're old enough to know what that is.
Okay. So is it real? And if it's real, then you deal with it. If it's not real, then you figure out why are you thinking like this? And then the third is just to reframe it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, again, I try to make things easy, but don't think everything is so easy. It isn't. You have to practice.
Well, what I like about what you're saying is like you're trying to identify the source.
Right.
And then is it real? I mean, I can use this with the people I work with
Absolutely.
daily.
Nobody has any money. Nobody wants to see me. Blah, blah, blah. I had this all the time. Everybody, we did insurance. And so they would say, well, everybody's diabetic. Oh, nobody has money. I'm like, everyone's a diabetic. No one has money.
Such big statements.
Right? So I used to have this purple sign. And in glitter, it would say the word next. And every time they would do that, I would hold this up. I wouldn't have to say a word. And they go, I know, not everybody. And I put it down. Now, to people that I hired decades ago that are still in the business, I just have to make the hand motion. And they go, I know.
You don't even need the card
I don't
anymore.
even need the card. But that's what I'm saying. So if it's not real, what do we do about it? So is everybody a diabetic? No. So is one person? Yeah, one person's a diabetic. Okay, well, what about everybody else?
Well, then you're limiting yourself when you start to think that way.
Right.
And you realize that that's coming from a place of fear.
Yeah.
That's really
because
what that
one
is,
person
just
said no to you.
Fear.
Yeah.
God, I've been told no so many times.
I know, but it just keeps. But you keep going.
Yeah, you do. You just got to keep going.
Yeah.
Just keep moving. Well, you kind of gave us this. What advice do you have for women about having confidence? Do you have any tips? I like what you're saying earlier about going back and reading things that people said about you that were kind. What do you recommend for other people?
Same. I would do that.
Yeah.
The other thing I would do, and I just did this recently with a client, she said, I feel like I'm not worthy of anything. I'm not doing anything. And this woman is way up there. And I said to her, do me a favor. Go back in your calendar and just look at the things that you completed. Not, I filed this away or I wrote this email. Just look and see the things that you were involved with. And she called, she said, I'm amazing. I'm a badass.
Like, that's awesome.
Really? Why is that? She said, do you know how many things I accomplished? I said, no, really, tell me. Because that's right then and there, when you see it for yourself, and I'm not the only one telling you that you're amazing, and you see, I got this done. I got this proposal through. I got all these things. That is a great exercise for anybody. I don't care who you are, and I don't care how old you are. It's a great exercise to see, like, wow, I really accomplished a lot.
I think we get so focused on what we're doing now, we forget about what we've done in the past, and then we might even try to minimize it.
Yep.
Thinking there's always something bigger or better that we have to do. So what we did before didn't count, but it really did.
Right. And we didn't celebrate. So you don't remember.
We didn't celebrate.
Yeah.
We're back to the celebrating.
And I'm telling you that we were never taught how to celebrate, and we never showed anybody how to celebrate. But when you ask the question and you have to go back and think about it, now my clients know coming in, they have something already in their mind. Okay, are we going to celebrate now?
Okay.
Because that's what happens.
Okay. I love that. I'm walking away with so much today from this conversation. Harmony and celebrate.
Yeah. That's all. That's what you need.
I love it. Okay. So now that our listeners have heard you, because you're amazing, how can they get in touch with you if they want to be your client, if they want you to speak at an event or buy your books?
So the easiest thing is I'm on LinkedIn all the time under Judy Hoberman. I mean, that's me. And that's the easiest way. However, you can also go to my website, which is sellingintheskirt.com, and there's free things that you can download and take advantage of it, and I'll see that you took them, gave them to you, however you want to say it. But so that's another way. I always have things going on. There's always either a contest going on or something about like what we did for self-worth. When we do something big for International Women's Day. And so this year we did it about self-worth. Last year it was about advice for women in leadership. And the document that came out was so beautiful that we had men saying, I sent this to my wife.
Oh, that's so nice.
I sent this to the women in my group and so on. So there's always things that you can download from me, and you can be part of our newsletter. We don't, there's a million things you can do. And so just really connect with me on LinkedIn. That's probably the easiest way.
You are very active on the LinkedIn.
Yeah.
And where can they hear your podcasts?
They can hear my podcast. It's called The Trailblazer Chronicles, and it's on Spotify, and it's on Apple.
Okay.
And I always post it all over social media. And there's a lot of episodes. There's a lot of fun episodes, a lot of episodes coming up also, because Trailblazer Chronicles has their stories about women.
Oh, I can only imagine. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. Okay. Having a coach can be life-changing. She can inspire, direct, and most importantly, give you the confidence to move forward with your head high. Here are my 2 parting tips for you today. The first one is be proactive. If you need the support and guidance of a coach, don't wait like I did. You will hit your goals faster if you have the guidance that you know you need. And secondly, find the right coach for you. There are several different executive coaches that specialize in specific areas. Align yourself with a coach that will serve your needs. You can do this by perusing LinkedIn, accessing local women's networking groups, or by asking colleagues for references. Those are my parting words for you today. This is Holly Kaplan. Cheers until the next episode of Talking Confidence. Thank you, Talking Confidence listeners, for joining me for this episode today. I hope it gave you something to think about. If you like this conversation, please leave us a review and share your thoughts. Thanks.